process a little bit easier. Target bones, as we already covered when it came to the face, they're basically single points that you assign a certain other bone to it. Remember when we did the eye the easy way? We made a single bone, and when we moved it, both of the eyes were following the movement. That's a target movement. But it's not always that. You can actually adjust target bones to make the movement and position of your parts much more easier. Now let's talk about those. We're going to be on frame 0 again, just to make sure we have all the details here. We're going to start with the legs. I'm going to add 2 single bones. For this to happen, you don't want any sort of other bones being selected. So make sure you press Escape or Alt and click anywhere on your canvas. And I'm going to draw a bone starting from back of the leg all the way back. I'm going to do this again by just drawing it on the other side. Like so, I have 2 bones here. I'm going to select both of them and make sure the strength is down to 0. We don't want them affecting any layers or anything, right? So what I want to do now at this point is to rename each one. So click on the one here. I will say LC, leg control, right. And I'm going to rename the other one LCL. Right? So I have those 2 controls in place. Now what I want to do is I want to make all of the bones, or basically this bottom one, get targeted. Can we close the door, please? Thank you, Mustafa. We want to get that targeted to these bones. So what I will do is I will select the bone, let's say on the left side first. I'm going to go to Bone Constraints, and under here, the target area, I'm going to choose LCL. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other one. Go to LCR. So now they're targeted to those bones. Now what this means is, right now, if I were to animate my character, the feet will always point at that bone, and they will try to move with that bone. So if I grab this bone in my animation and move this around, I'm animating the leg. Quite easy. And as you can see, the leg is trying to kind of reach that bone. Do the exact same thing on the other side. That's exactly what it's doing. So makes the process of animation much more easier. But it doesn't only stop that. Now remember, one of the techniques that in the 12 principles of animation was stretch and squash, right? Moho gives you the ability to actually achieve the result quite easily. So I'm going to select this bone. Actually, what you need to do is select all the bones, the 2 main bones of the leg. And I'm going to go to Bone Constraints. And here, I can turn on the squash and stretch scaling, right? So that's 100%. Let's see how that looks. Move to that frame. Let's move to... At this point, it's 100%, meaning the shape is not going to move at all, right? But if I were to change this to, let's say, 200%, and try it again, hello. Let's see why it's not affecting it. One more time. Bone constraints. Start 100%. stretched to create that shape. Obviously, maybe 200% is a little bit too much. You don't want that to happen, so I'm going to go back again to select these two bones. Bone constraints, squash and stretch. You're going to make it, let's say, 175. This is how much it actually looks stretched. It gets narrower when you stretch it. And let's put this one at 150% as well. Let's try it out. Much better. Right? And let's erase this. And even if I want to take them up, you see the legs are stretching and they're following those points. But it doesn't look natural because when I bring my character down, you can see this bone at the bottom is actually pointing and following the formation of the structure of the bone. I can fix that as well just by selecting them, going to bone constraints, and click on independent angle. All right? If they haven't changed this as well, let's try. Yes. So now, when I move my character around, the bones are going to stay straight. Makes it much more easier. I'm going to do the exact same thing for the other feet, bone, independent angle, goes, and now, both of them, obviously this one is stretched, it has stretch on, the other one doesn't. Again, going back to bone select tool, select those two, go here, gonna put this one at 150, and we're gonna stretch this to 150 as well. And close. Again. Anything that
He's high in the
he's high and he's dancing.
He's dancing.
Right. So the movement of the legs are going to be quite easy. You're going to just click on these and then just move them around. They're quite easy to handle. You can have that for each bone. That makes it easier to handle as well. So for example, you can add one up here for each hand. For the palm of the hand, just add a single bone on frame 0 and make sure no bone is selected. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select, click once, and then move this. Move this to that section. Once it's there, I'm going to rename this to, let's say, H or arm would be better, but HCR. And I'm going to select the bone in the hand, and I'm going to go over here and under target, I'm going to go HCR. And from this point on, and you can apply again those stretch settings as well. From this point on, I can grab onto this and it will just adjust my hand. Usually, the way they make it in animation, they always create one over here as well. That will control the angle of this bone in particular. And yeah, so that's that.
Hocam that points strength should be 0, right? That points.
Yes, there's no, when it's point, there's no strength to it when you create it. Only the line ones have points.
And why was the ball circle was moving? Circle was
It's
moving.
because of the hand.
Ah.
All right, so bone constraints, target bones, and a lot. So good luck. I leave you all. I'll meet you back here at 1:30. Well, I will not leave you off the class because you have to start to work on your